Hi, this is Heather Madden, the developer of OAT159 PowerPoint, and I wanted to show you how you're going to get started in MyItLab, the software you'll be using to actually learn the PowerPoint for this course. So we're going to go to Content, and in the content on the left-hand side, you should see the module called MyItLab. So you're going to click on MyItLab, and when you do, you will see all these sub-modules underneath of it. So the first thing you have to do is register in order to access the MyItLab. So you're going to register using the access code that you purchased from the bookstore. If you do not have an access code, that's not going to hold you up from registering and getting started. So there's no reason to be late on your first assignments. So you have 14 days. You have a free trial for 14 days. So if your financial aid is held up or something is holding you up from getting that access code, that's okay. You have 14-day free trial. So you're still going to follow the directions on this video. This video is going to show you how to use that 14-day free trial, or if you already have the access code, how to use the access code to log in. If you have difficulty logging in, sometimes it's because it thinks you've already logged in before because you've used Pearson's MyMathLab. So if you seem to have problems, if it says when you put in your email address, it's trying to say you already have an account and you don't think you do, try using a different email address, because sometimes it's picking up that email address from when you use MyMathLab. So just try a different email address. If you're still having difficulty after that, contact Pearson support, or maybe your instructor. Okay. Underneath that, you'll see your assignment information. And this breaks down the way the assignment information is going to break down in your MyItLab. So you have what's called simulation training, or sim training, and simulation exams. It is a simulation training, and you'll notice simulation training and exams are exactly the same thing. Once you do the training, the exam is going to be exactly the same thing, except the simulation training, it has a learning area that's going to allow you to read the instructions, watch a video, or practice that's telling you how to perform the actions in PowerPoint. The simulation exam is not going to do that. So you have to be very careful. Also, you can do the simulation training as many times as you would like. The exam, you can only complete the exam once. So make sure you read this area very carefully, because some things you have an unlimited amount of time to do, an unlimited amount of attempts to do. So for your greater project homework, you can submit them. MyItLab will grade them. You can see your mistakes, and then you can fix those mistakes for a higher grade all the way up until the due date. So I highly encourage you to start early, and then you can see your mistakes. You learn from those mistakes, you do it again, and then you fix those mistakes, you improve, and you get a better grade. And you can do that until the due date of the submission. After the due date, of course, you can't do it after that. So make sure you read this stuff very carefully. Quizzes, of course, are only allowed once. Okay? And then for your final exam, you can complete the mouse exam if you so choose, or you can take the final exam. That is your choice. The final exam, you can take the mouse exam, or you can take the final exam that comes with the course. It is up to you. Okay, and then to actually go into the MyItLab, you click on MyItLab course content. It takes you right into the content, and you'll see that we have Start Here in MyItLab. That contains mostly videos that are going to tell you how you're going to work with the simulation training, the simulation exams, etc. So it's going to tell you when you get to those greater projects, how do you check those assignments? How do you submit those assignments? How do you check them for grading? How is the software going to check them? How do you see what you did wrong, etc.? So you need to make sure you're looking at all these videos. A lot of people want to skip this part. This is really important because it's going to set you up for success for the whole course. So, for example, you have getting started with MyItLab video, the course materials video, etc. So you want to make sure you watch all those videos. And then in the, whoops, I went back a little too far. Let me go back in. And then in chapter 1, you'll see that you have simulation activities video. So it's going to tell you how you work those simulation activities, grader activities video. So you need to make sure you're watching these videos. Okay, so let me show you how a training works. So you get a simulation training. Okay, and I'm giving you reminders here. You have unlimited attempts until the due date, and after that you won't have access. Okay, and don't forget, here's your reminder, don't forget to look at read instructions, watch video, or practice. So those are your reminders. Make sure you're reading. It's very important in an online course to read and watch videos. That's the learning portion of the course. Okay, so your screen may look a little bit different depending on the size monitor you have. This part here may look different. It may be down at the bottom. On here, it's telling you your first activity. Start a new presentation using this theme. Well, you don't know how to do that yet. So, if you're new to PowerPoint, that may be a problem. So the learning part is a little bit hard to find. It's right here where it says learning aids, and yours may be in a slightly different location. So make sure you're looking for this. And then when you click on this, you have different options depending on how you like to learn. If you click on read instructions, it's going to take you to the portion of the book, of the e-text, that refers specifically to this task, okay? And it shows you a video that goes with it. But it shows you the exact portion of the book, and you can read the portion of the book step-by-step instructions if you prefer to read. Some people prefer to read, okay? Some people prefer the video. It's up to you. Everybody learns in a different way. Okay, if you would rather, go straight to the video, you can go to watch video. It's the same video, so that would take you straight to the video and skip the e-text part. Or you could go to practice. Now, everybody,
in the Windows 10 desktop, click the Start button.
So it's going to walk you step by step. So it's telling me to do that, so I'm going to try that.
On the Start menu, click All Apps.
Okay, so I would do that.
Scroll down and click PowerPoint 2016. Click Facet. Click Create.
And then it has me try that same activity by myself. So every one of these activities you can go through at your own pace, however you like. All of us come into this course at different levels. Some of us have used PowerPoint, some of us have not. Some of us will go through some of these tasks, and some of us have used certain tasks a lot, and some of us haven't. So how you go through these will be different for each different person. Okay. The other thing is you have view all, so you can go pick and choose different activities in different order, redo activities that you had difficulty with, so you don't have to go in order. Okay. So I'm going to click on close there. Make sure you hit save. If you decide you're going to do part of this today and then maybe part of it tomorrow night, you don't have to finish it all at once. And then make sure that you click submit when you're ready to turn that assignment in for a grade. Okay, so I'm going to cancel out of here. I'm going to leave. If you did that, you would get no credit at all. So don't you do that. Okay. All right. So I also have for each chapter I have the objectives and outcomes, and you have to come over here because they're in PowerPoint. So I'm going to open up that. I'm sorry, I have them in Word. Okay, so you can see what's going to happen in the chapter, what's coming in the next chapter, what the objectives are for this chapter, what the assignments will be for the chapter, etc. Okay, and each chapter is pretty much the same. So chapter 1 chapter will be pretty much the same as chapter 2, pretty much the same as chapter 3, etc. Okay, then we have the sim training, which is what you just saw. If I scroll down a little more, you'll see I have 3 grader project homeworks, and I have the solutions, so you can see what they're going to look like when they're done. Okay, this is what it should look like. Okay, so you can see what it should look like. Oops. Going backwards didn't help me there. I moved it too far backwards. Okay. But when you go into the actual project, okay, it's going to tell you to download the materials. This is when you're going to actually work in PowerPoint. So it's going to give you an instruction file, which is a docx file, a Word file, and it's going to give you a PowerPoint or multiple PowerPoint files. You can download all the files at once. I do not suggest doing that, because if you do that, it's going to come in as a compressed file format called a zip file. If you don't know how to unzip a file, then you're going to have difficulty with that. So I do not suggest using that format. I suggest downloading them one at a time, and then you won't have a problem. Just make sure that you're saving them in a location where you can find them. So, I would create a folder on my desktop or in my documents called OAT159 PowerPoint, and put all my work in there, and then maybe divide it up by chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Be organized. You don't want to lose your material. Okay, and make sure if you're sharing computers with a roommate or somebody else taking this course, that you upload your files, because you don't want to accidentally upload somebody else's files. Integrity violations show, so that means that it will show if you're uploading somebody else's file by mistake. You do not want that to happen. When you have somebody upload somebody else's file to us, it's going to appear as though you might be submitting somebody else's work, and it wasn't a mistake. So please make sure that you're submitting your work. Okay? All right, so I'm going to close that. You can also see your instructions here if you prefer. I prefer printing them out, because then I can read it really well and mark them off one at a time. I think it's much easier to do that and read one little piece at a time. I also find that students that print them out do better, because they are reading one step at a time, and then they can read it clearly, and they don't lose their place. It's actually much better to do that. So just be cognizant of that. And then when you're done your file, you have to upload it for grading. So you're going to click here, find your file, and make sure it's the file that you worked on. Because lots of times students accidentally upload the file that they downloaded instead of uploading the file that they changed. So make sure you upload your changed file. And then the last step is submit for grading. Uploading it isn't enough. You have to submit it for grading before it will grade. Okay? Okay? And you have several of those activities. Okay? The simulation exam is just like the simulation training, except you only get one attempt. And when you start, you can save. I believe you can save it. But make sure that you that you understand that you don't have any learning activities there. The quiz, you only have one attempt. The graded project assessment is like the graded project homeworks, except for it's worth more because it's like your exam.